Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Jasmine and you're watching Yazz'n It Up. And today's video I have for you guys is my first ranking video. I've seen these on YouTube for a little bit now, and basically people have been picking categories in their makeup collection and have been ranking them from their favorite and all the way to their least favorite. So today I'm going to be doing my foundations. I quite enjoy seeing eyeshadow palette rankings because those are my favorite thing to purchase. I absolutely love eyeshadow palettes, and I figured I'd start smaller and do foundations. I have 13 foundations currently in my collection, so I'm going to be ranking them from best to the one that's just not my favorite. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's video by giving it a thumbs up. Comment down below what you guys want me to rank next in my collection, and let's go ahead and get started. So I'm actually going to go ahead and start from the bottom. So my 13th foundation, the one in my collection that's just not my favorite, is this Becca foundation. This is the Becca Ultimate Coverage 24-Hour Foundation, and I have mine in the shade Buff. So here's what this foundation looks like, and I don't think that this is my perfect shade. It is a little bit light, so I mix it in with another foundation just to make it a little bit darker. But the reason that this is my number 13th foundation is because it's so thick. I have full coverage foundations towards the top of my list that don't feel so cakey and heavy on my skin when I'm wearing this, and I have my mask on. It makes my makeup on my nose and my chin, you know, where my mask is covering it, break off so ugly. Like, it just separates, and especially during the summertime, even when I'm not wearing my mask over here on my forehead, it'll start to break apart and it doesn't look cute at all. So this is very, very heavy. It is full coverage, I will give it that, but I found this at TJ Maxx, and for the price, even the full price, this is expensive. I mean, Becca is a higher end brand, but even the price that I paid for it, I expect something a little bit more. So I was just a little bit disappointed in this. I don't usually gravitate towards this foundation, but because I have it in my collection, I will end up using this up, but I was just a little bit disappointed. This is just a little bit too thick and heavy for me. Number 12, this one is very old in my collection. This is the Sonia Kashuk. Let's see, this is the Focus Satin Matte Foundation, and I have mine in the shade Buff as well, 04. And this one you can get at Target. I'm pretty sure that's the only place you can get Sonia Kashuk, if not on their website. And I've had this for a long time, and it oxidized the first day I got it. Like I said, I got mine in the shade Buff, but once I apply it to my skin, it looks fine. But once I go throughout the day, it starts to get orangey, and it's not cute at all. I look like a Oompa Loompa. I have a different shade on my chest and neck compared to my face, and it just was not a cute look. So that's the only reason that this one is towards the bottom. Also, it has a disgusting, like, grandma fragrance smell. It's highly fragranced, and it's just not my favorite, and it just doesn't last throughout the day on me, and it's just not my shade because when it oxidizes, it makes me look super orange. So this one, I just want to finish it soon. Hopefully I can finish it this year and get it out of my collection, but I wouldn't repurchase this one, and I wouldn't recommend it for people with oily skin. Maybe if you have normal to dry skin, you would like this. I just recommend getting it in a shade lighter because when it oxidizes, then it might actually match you. Number 11, I picked these up on the Shop Miss A website. This is the AOA Studio Buildable Satin Foundation. I have two of them here. One of them I have in soft beige 308, and the other one in natural beige 307. So the one that I currently have open is in soft tan and 308, and this one is super dark for me. So this one is just the shade under, so I'm wondering if this one is going to be dark on me as well. But the reason that this is towards the bottom of my list is because I don't like it by itself. These are wonderful to mix in. I have another foundation that I mix in with this one, and it works really well for me, but just by itself, I tried it before, and because it is a satin foundation, it doesn't last on my skin, and it breaks apart during the day, and I have oily skin, so even if I powder my entire face, especially in my T-zone, I'm the most oily, and it starts breaking apart on me. So that's the only reason that this is at the bottom of my list. The coverage is okay. It doesn't have any fragrance to it, so if you have normal to dry skin, I would recommend any satin foundation, but because this is a satin finish, I would recommend that for you. I prefer a matte finish in my foundations, so most of my satin finish foundations are towards the bottom of my list, but this is only $1 for one of these, and they're 0.64 ounces. Next foundation, number 10 on my list, is the Believe Beauty Skin Finish Foundation. Here is what this foundation looks like, and this was only $5 at Dollar General. I picked this up because one of my favorite YouTubers recommended this, and I had such high hopes for this, but it just didn't work out for me. I have mine in the shade Neutral Tan. It breaks apart on my skin like halfway through the day. It just doesn't last as long as I thought it was going to. It is medium to full coverage, and it was only $5, so it worked really good. If you have combination normal skin, or even if your skin is just a little bit oily, I think this will work for you. If you're super oily, I don't know how well this is gonna work out. I would just highly recommend to set your face with face powder, but this is number 10 on my list. Number 9 on my list, this is the JOA Truly Yours Natural Finish Foundation Drops, and I have mine in the shade Natural Beige. I picked this up at CVS. I'm not quite sure where else you can get JOA as a brand, but the only place I've been able to find it at CVS, and they're fairly affordable. And this foundation is number 9. I don't have that many bad things to say about it or any like wonderful things to say about it. It's like right in the middle. Like, I use a foundation because I have it, but I don't gravitate towards it. Like, this is not the first foundation that I grab for. So it's just kind of in the middle. Nothing great, nothing fantastic, just an average foundation. And this was super affordable, so I don't mind using this up. And if you guys are on a budget, stop by CVS. Maybe you'll enjoy this foundation. My number 8 foundation here, this is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte, and I have mine in the shade 106 Sun Beige. Here's what this foundation looks like. If you guys haven't seen this in the drugstore, L'Oreal Pro Matte has been out for a hot minute, and they even come out with a dewy version of this foundation. The reason it's kind of in the middle on my list is because it's inconsistent sometimes. During the summer especially, like I said, I'm super oily, so I need a matte foundation like this one to help me get through the day, to keep my face fully covered, and just to stay put. But this one sometimes just breaks apart, especially right here on my cheeks and around my nose, and even on my chin. Sometimes it breaks apart and it's not cute at all. I've had some moments where I do my full face and I go ahead to apply my foundation and I do my powder and all that jazz, and by the end I finish my makeup and it just looks terrible. Nothing sits on it properly, and I end up just removing my entire face of makeup. But then I have other days where this looks fantastic on me and it's full coverage. It looks like a high-end foundation. So because this one is so inconsistent, that's why it's number 8 on my list, is just because of its inconsistency on how it wears on my skin. If you guys have oily skin, not super oily skin, then I feel like this would work fantastic for you. It is a matte foundation and it does keep on my face pretty well. It's just that some of those days maybe it doesn't react with the primer well, or maybe it doesn't react with the powder I'm using well that day. It just depends. So this one is a little bit iffy, but I tend to usually have one of these in my collection and I've been using it for years now. So this one is a really good drugstore foundation. Number 7 on my list, this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Stick Foundation, and I have mine in the shade Tan. The reason it has this little piece of tape on it is because it is in my project pan at the moment. If you guys have not seen my latest project pan video, I will go ahead and link that in the eye for you guys. And I only have a little bit left of this foundation left, but I used to love this, especially in the summer when I first got it. It matched me perfectly. The tan shade just worked well with me and it stuck on my face pretty well. But as I continue to use this foundation, I'm realizing that it's not my favorite. It's a good foundation. It's number 7 on my list, but I don't think I would purchase this one. I really want to try the Hourglass Stick Foundation. I heard great things about that one, especially if you have oily skin. I'm getting through this one. I can highly recommend this foundation for any skin type really, and I think it would work well with everyone, and I found mine at TJ Maxx for a great price. So this one works really well for me, but I'm just working on it to get it out of my collection because I've had it for over a year now. But it's a great foundation overall, especially if you can find it at TJ Maxx for a discounted price. Alrighty, number 6 on my list, guys. This is the Catrice Cosmetics HD Liquid Coverage Foundation. It says it lasts up to 24 hours. It's mattifying, and there is 1.01 fluid ounces in here. I have mine in the shade Warm Beige, and here is what this foundation looks like. I found mine at Ulta and it was very affordable. I like that it's like a frosted glass bottle and it just feels super bougie, and even though it's drugstore, it just looks like a higher end bottle. I quite enjoy this foundation. It lasts on my skin for most of the day. I do struggle with most 99.9 foundations. I struggle mostly with my T-zone. They get super oily, but when this one fades, it fades very well on my skin. It doesn't break apart and look disgusting. It just fades naturally naturally. Looks really, really pretty. When I put it on, it makes my skin just look flat, and I can brighten it up with a highlight or a blush with a sheen in it, and then it just makes my skin look healthy and glowy. So this one works really, really well. I like this foundation, and I probably would repurchase it if I ever use this bottle up completely. And like I said, it's super affordable, so I would highly recommend this for any skin types. Alrighty, we are moving into my top 5 foundation. Number 5 here I have is the Ofra Absolute Coverage Foundation. It says this is a full coverage foundation made with silk peptides, and this is 1 fluid ounce in here. I have mine in the shade number 4, and this one I found online at Ulta, and it was only $20, so it was on sale. I'm pretty sure this one is like $40. Here's what the foundation looks like. I probably wouldn't purchase it for its full price. This one works really, really well. I love it for $20, and I love that it's in my collection right now. 04 does not match me completely, so this is the foundation that I usually mix in with the AOA Studio foundation, because that foundation is darker and this one is just a little bit lighter for me. So I mix them together, and that's actually what I have on my skin today. And I have the ABH foundation underneath, and then I mix these two together just to blend everything out. And this one works really, really well. It's number 5 on my list, but I don't think I would purchase it for its full price. Like I said before, I just don't think it's worth it, because there's so many drugstore foundations that are so much better than higher end ones. Like my top 2 are from Wet n Wild, and those are drugstore. Wet n Wild, like their stuff is less than $10, so they're fantastic. So I wouldn't spend $40 on this foundation, and I just think it's a beautiful coverage. You can build it up to be full coverage. Number 4, my foundation. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation, and I have mine in the shade 220 Natural Beige. This is a tried and true. I've been using this foundation since like high school. This is so good. People don't give this foundation enough love. I feel like when it first came out, everyone and their mom was talking about this, and for good reasons, and I still use it. I know they came out with a dewy version of this, and I've just stuck to the matte one because I have oily skin, but I'm sure the dewy one is just as good. And this one I use during the summer, I use during the spring when it's warmer, and honestly I could just use this foundation all year round. It's wonderful. I always have one of these foundations in my collection. Here's what this looks like if you guys have never seen the Maybelline foundation before. Just the matte and poreless. And like I said, this is the Fit Me from Maybelline, and I will always make sure I have one of these foundations in my collection at all times, because I know whenever I'm stuck, whenever I don't know what foundation I want to use, I just naturally gravitate towards this one. It's really, really good and super affordable. My number 3 foundation, my 3rd foundation in my collection, is my Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation. I just discovered this one in 2020, and I have mine in the shade F9, and this one is full coverage. You can build it up. This one actually has a doe foot applicator on it, and I kind of like that. It was this big old applicator, and I just put this all over my face. I just draw stripes on it, and it works really, really well, because you can go back in and put more on and just layer it up to full coverage. It does have just a little scent to it. It's not fragrance. It just smells a little bit like paint, which whatever, drugstore foundations aren't gonna smell the best, but it works really, really well. Once you apply it on your face, you don't even smell it anymore. But this one works really, really well, and it stays on my face no matter what primer I'm using. It lasts throughout the day for me, and I've just fallen in love with this foundation. Makeup Revolution, for the past maybe year and a half, I've been gravitating towards, and I love just about every single product that I've used from Makeup Revolution before. They're super affordable. The only place that I've been able to find it is at TJ Maxx and at Ulta, and I'm sure you can order from their website directly as well. But this foundation is just fantastic. I feel like this would work for all skin types, and it was super affordable. You can even use a coupon at Ulta for this foundation as well. My 2nd favorite foundation is from Wet n Wild, and it's discontinued, of course. This is the Mega Cushion Foundation with SPF 15 from Wet n Wild. I have mine in the shade Buff Beige, this medium warm foundation, and this one I actually found at the Dollar Tree, and for $1 I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. Usually I don't like foundations with SPF in it because of my oily skin. It just makes me look so much more greasy, so I figured I'd give it a try, and I've fallen in love with it. And I was watching a Taylor Wynn video, and it's discontinued, and I had no idea it was discontinued. I don't think I'm able to get my hands on this foundation anymore, and of course it's my #2 favorite foundation, but once this is gone, I will just have to stick with my #1 foundation, and I'll enjoy this while it lasts. But if you guys see this at your Dollar Tree, or if you see it at TJ Maxx, pick it up if you have normal to dry skin, if you have super oily skin, if you have combination. I feel like any skin type, this would work for you guys, and I'm pretty sure they have several shades in this one. Let me go ahead and open it for you guys. Here's what it looks like. It's just a cushion, and I take my sponge and I dip it in there, and then I apply it that way to my face, and it works really well for me, and it just looks super natural. And last but not least, my #1 favorite foundation, my tried and true. If you guys have been subscribed to my channel for a while, you probably can guess it. It is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation. I have mine in the shade Golden Beige. It's 1 fluid ounce, and this is like $5. This is the best foundation in my opinion. It comes with a little paddle, which I know was people's gripe when it first came out. It doesn't have like a pump or anything. It's just this weird little paddle, and it has a paint smell. So that's the only thing that people did not like about this foundation, but when I tried it, it really didn't bother me. I take the paddle and I scrape it on my face. It's just plastic, it doesn't hurt at all, and I just put it on my face, and I take my sponge and I blend it out. Once it blends out, you don't even smell the paint smell anymore. Super affordable. You can build this up to be full coverage. It's naturally a medium coverage foundation, and with my super oily skin, this lasts during the heat of the summer, it lasts during the winter, it lasts during anything. Doesn't matter what primer I use with this, as long as I set it with powder, it works really well for me, and I cannot recommend this foundation enough. You can literally get this foundation anywhere. It's just natural. It doesn't break up on my skin, or it doesn't start looking patchy. It just fades so nicely. So I really like this foundation, and I highly recommend it. And I know they came out with a dewy version of this, so if you guys have oily skin, definitely get their Photo Focus foundation. This is just their first one that they came out with, the original, but if you guys have drier skin, try out the dewy version of this. So that is all 13 bottles of foundation that I have in my collection, and I hope you guys enjoyed this type of video. I've been enjoying it on YouTube for a little bit now. Like I said, eyeshadow palettes has been my favorite one to watch so far. Don't forget to comment down below if you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, leave me a which category you want me to do next. I do have a couple categories that I want to do, like primers and powders, but I have some new primers and powders that I haven't tested out yet, so I'm starting to test those out. That way I'm able to continue this ranking series on my channel. But I quite enjoyed doing this. I sat down and I was able to rank all of them, and honestly it was pretty easy. I knew which ones were my favorite, and I knew which ones was at the bottom. It was just towards in the middle, like 7 through 10, that I was trying to figure out what order to put those in. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. I do beauty related videos just about once a week. I upload, and I will go ahead and leave my social media down below for you guys. If you want to follow me on my Instagram or on my Snapchat, you can go ahead and do that. Always check in the description box to see what's new. I'm always writing something to you guys down there, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and you have a great day. Psh.